In the 1st century before Christ, Rome ruled the known world. From the sands of Africa to the forests of Gaul to the mountains of the East, Rome conquered. And where Rome conquered, it enslaved. Millions lived in chains, but among them were men forced into something far worse. Gladiators. Warriors trained to fight, not for victory, but for spectacle. Spartacus was born far from Rome, in Thrace, a land of harsh terrain and hardened warriors. He was no stranger to war. Some say he even fought for Rome, an auxiliary soldier, learning their tactics, their discipline, their weaknesses. But something changed. Whether rebellion or desertion, Spartacus was captured, stripped of his freedom, and sold, sent to a gladiator school in Capua, where men were trained to die. There he became a fighter, a murmillo, armed with shield and sword. To the crowd, he was entertainment. To Rome, he was property. But inside the arena, Spartacus was becoming something else. Stronger, smarter, more dangerous. In 73 BC, he made his move. With around 70 other gladiators, he escaped, not with swords, but with kitchen knives. They overwhelmed their guards, seized weapons, and fled into the countryside. Rome saw it as nothing more than a minor disturbance. They were wrong. Spartacus led his men to Mount Vesuvius, a natural fortress. Roman forces surrounded the mountain, blocking the only path. Their plan was simple: starve them out, end it quietly. But Spartacus had learned from Rome. Using vines, his men descended the cliffs at night, slipping behind Roman lines. And when they attacked, they didn't just win, they destroyed them. Completely. Word spread. Slaves fled their masters. Farm workers, miners, shepherds. They joined Spartacus. His army grew. Thousands, then tens of thousands. An army of the enslaved, now free. They raided estates, burned plantations, and with every victory, Rome grew uneasy. By 72 BC, Rome could no longer ignore him. They sent consuls, armies of the Republic, and Spartacus met them in battle. Near Mount Garganus, his forces suffered a devastating loss. Crixus, one of his commanders, was surrounded and killed. 30,000 men gone. But Spartacus retaliated. He crushed Roman forces, defeating the consuls sent against him. Then in the north, near Mutina, he broke through another Roman army. Victory after victory. The path to the Alps was open. Freedom was within reach. But the army did not leave. Some wanted escape. Others wanted war. And Spartacus turned back, south. By 71 BC, Rome placed its fate in the hands of one man, Marcus Licinius Crassus. He brought discipline through fear, decimation. 1 in every 10 soldiers executed. Not for defeat, but for weakness. Then he reshaped the battlefield itself. In southern Italy, he built a wall, miles long, trapping Spartacus and his army. Spartacus tried to escape. He made a deal with pirates to sail to Sicily. They betrayed him, took his payment, and disappeared. Trapped, with nowhere to go, Spartacus attempted negotiation, a way out. Crassus refused. There would be no peace. So Spartacus fought. In the dead of night, in the middle of a storm, his army broke through Roman lines. For a moment, he was free again. But his forces were divided, exhausted, and Rome was closing in. The final battle came in 71 BC, in southern Italy. Spartacus knew there would be no escape. Before the battle, he killed his horse. If he won, he would have many. If he lost, he would need none. Then he charged, straight into the Roman army, toward Crassus himself. Through steel, through blood, through chaos. But Rome held. The legions surrounded him, and Spartacus fell. Fighting, his body never found. The survivors fled. But Rome was everywhere. Thousands were captured, and along the Appian Way, 6,000 men were crucified, lining the road for miles. A warning to anyone who would dare rise against Rome. Yet centuries later, his name endures. A slave who became a general. A man who defied Rome and made it afraid. Spartacus was more than a rebel. He was a symbol of freedom, of resistance, of defiance against impossible odds. Like, share, and subscribe, because some stories should never be forgotten. And if there's a story you want told next, leave it in the comments.